Let's look at how Kaizer Chiefs are planning to play and why Nabi is picking the players that he's picking and why he's using them the way that he's using them. The three things that Kaizer Chiefs are looking to do in defense, in attack, and also in some transitional moment. And another very interesting thing that I saw, which I think you'll enjoy watching throughout the season. And let's just address the elephant in the room. Me analyzing the game on YouTube does not mean now Kaizer Chiefs are exposed. No, they have a proper technical team that will be changing their tactics game in, game out. So just because a YouTuber is analyzing games, that does not mean Chiefs are now exposed. Let's put that out of the way so that I don't see it on the comments. Now, let's look at Chiefs in their build-up phase. So here you have the two center backs, right? They were always the ones who were like at the base of this build-up system. And then you have the four in midfield, which is a right back, the left back, and Umart Nosamgelo Zwane. What are we doing here? We are trying to make sure that we stretch the field early on, but at the same time with two players in the middle who will be able to help us in build-up. You will see this in other situations as well. But on top of that, if you go further up the field, you will see something. You will have either Saile as one person in front of the two, Usamgelo no Mart, or sometimes it would be Ranga or Sereno or Umtu Shabalala. It was just rotations because we don't want to be predictable either. And up front, if you look at the last three players who are on top of that shape is Umtu, who's on the right in this case, Ranga through the middle, and out wide is Sereno. It changes. It's not always the same. So, and this is another example, Chiefs playing out from the back. I'm not showing the videos because SABC Sport took down one of my videos because I was showing the clips. So if you look here, once again, you have a situation whereby you have those two at the back and then those four in E as the second line. Now, look at the importance of this. Look at how many players from Marumo Gallants have committed. Let me put myself on the side. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players of Marumo Gallants who are already committed. And what does that mean? I'll show you in a second. It means something that is very powerful. That is the reason why teams play out from the back in the beginning, right? And we're going to talk about it. So stay tuned. So you see now, we're now in this situation whereby Kaizer Chiefs have bypassed that first line of press, right? So this is us trying to build from the back, 11-16. And later on, 11-26, now we're on a counter. Down below here, there is Usaile, who's not showing because he's out of frame, but I put a circle there to show you that he's there. And then in the middle, you have Umtu Shabalala, and out wide, you have Ukaston Sereno. And then the person on the pole is Uranga Chivavero. Now, what is happening is that the other 5 guys of theirs committed forward. So now who are they left with? They are left with those two center backs, the guy who's marking Uranga, the guy who's covering for Uranga. But Usaile, when he does arrive as he's running down below, he's now not marked. So that baiting, that asking Marumo Gallants to come and press us by us playing the ball out from the back, we've essentially made them commit more players up front, and then we can find a way of playing out from that press. And then now we have space to run into, because a lot of teams you play against and then they are just playing a low block. They're all sitting deep and you have no space. So what are they doing now? They're just saying, listen, we're just going to play the ball near our box, and also there's a risk with that. So you know teams are going to try and press you because they know there's likely going to be a mistake. But in doing that, then Nabi, that's why I went and got to Totally. That's why I went and got Inasu, because he knows they're comfortable on the ball. That's how Samgelo is playing, because it's going to help us build up from the back. And in doing that, it's going to allow us to beat those presses by these other teams. And then we find ourselves in situations like this where we're now just attacking. Now, this is another thing. You see that it's still the same shape, and you had Umart just a second ago. Let me just show you. That's the other attack. So here you have the three. Out wide, you have Upredley Cross, right? You have Umart and Samgelo Zwane. Those are the 3 players I highlighted. But look, like a few seconds later, in the same shape, right? Same shape, but you have swapped Umart, Nobani, Nokaston Sereno. Why is this significant, Pilo? Because that means the Chiefs are no longer like that static team that is just fixed positions, but you're not doing anything. The system, the shape stays the same, but the personnel is different. That is why you need players who are adaptable, players who can play different positions, like Abo Inacio, like Abo Totli, the signings that Kaizer Chiefs made. Like Usirino, he can play as a second striker, can play as a 10, can play as a winger. How is that helpful? It's helpful because of things like this. He can be a 10, he can drop and you see him as an 8, but you can also see him as a winger. So that's why that is also significant. Now, here's another thing with shape, rotations, and having more options and numbers. Last year, one of the things we complained about was the fact that Kaizer Chiefs were not committing enough players up front. But if you are constantly moving and you have a certain shape, you also trust yourself in attack. We're going to talk about defense as well. You also trust yourself because you know that our shape determines how we rotate. But also having a specific shape and knowing how we're going to play, it also means for any player who has the ball, they have options. And if we have options going forward and we know that our shape is good enough to cover us when we're going forward, we're also going to be able to commit numbers forward because we know that our shape is going to basically stop any counter. So here, if you look at the ball, you have Usirino going inside into that space where you want him to be. And he leaves that guy for dead. And the cross is now wide. Now look at this. Sereno can play the ball behind the defender who's marking Uranga. He can play the ball to Cross, who can then cross the ball into the box. He can play the ball to Mtu. By the way, Mtu, on top of the fact that he's just there free, there's also Usaile this side, right? So there's Usaile who's also just ready to pounce if anything happens. And he's free because all the defenders are looking that side. But he decides to pass it to Uranga. And he makes the run, which is something that is important about this. Uranga, the reason why is usually the one like playing like a 10 and then Abom 2 are playing behind him is because he's quick, but they are quicker. So if he's the one who's dropping, he's also pulling defenders with him. And if he pulls defenders with him, it leaves space as you're about to see here. So he pulled a defender, right? And those 4 guys who are now attacking the goal can now run into that space. And in this case, Usirino finds himself in a shooting position with the keeper, but then the keeper ends up saving this ball. If you're enjoying the video, by the way, please make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel. So that is Kaizer Chiefs going forward, but we did not get our goals from how we set up going forward. We got our goals from how we're set up in defense. For starters, you will see that we were quite aggressive from the get-go. This is like within the first minute. Let me show you. You see here, the first minute we're pressing, but I hit the time for some reason. And then we're pressing, and then 2 minutes we're there pressing, winning the ball back. Aggression, something we're talking about. This is Chiefs again, pressing the ball. But now, this is what happens in a goal because people are quick to blame Umar. But he can be at fault, but it's not just him. It also is a brilliant taken goal. Why am I saying that? Because look at when the whistle is blown. 6:59, right? And the moment the whistle is blown, the ball is played. Now, you have Umar who's supposed to track the guy with the ball. But on the right, you also have Usirino who is supposed to help Cross prevent the guy from crossing the ball. And I know people are going to say, don't blame Usirino. No. But he was responsible in defense to also help. But what happens here is that Umar sees Udotli coming to close the player down. He slows down. And the moment he does that, the player gets away from him. And Sereno also stops as well. 2 people stop at the same time. And what happens is that the ball ends up being crossed and Umar is too late and the ball deflects. So it's a combination of Chiefs players, Umar in this case, Beno Sereno not tracking it to the fullest. So it happened, we considered, but what was important is that we then decided to come back. Now, if you look at the situation, Kaizer Chiefs were set up to attack. Even in our defense, we're set up in such a way that we are making sure that, hey, we are going to score a goal after defending this. It wasn't just, oh, let's just defend and not have a plan. We're set up to capitalize on those transitional moments. Now, this is after Kaizer Chiefs had considered a goal. This is after Chiefs had pressed, like I showed earlier on, Aboranga pressing up and down. Now look at what happens. The keeper is like, you know what, I'm just going to play the ball long. But on top of the brilliance of Umfanagazana Loaga Sereno, the other important thing is that if you look at how Chiefs are set up there, those 3 players that are up front, you have Uranga, you have Umtu, you have Usaile as well. When Usirino gets the ball, he knows that the way that the Chiefs are set up is in such a way that when we get the ball in transition, the quickest players, the willing runners in Saile and Umtu Shabalala are there available and ready to attack space. So it's not just that we are falling back strategically. So when Sirino gets the ball, it sees that Umtu is running towards that space and he's attacking that space, and he goes in and he finishes the goal. And this is not the only time where Kaizer Chiefs actually did this, because if you look here, this is Marumo Kalans attacking, and look at the players who are furthest forward, right? Sirino is there in the midst helping across because we are defending from that side. But these other 2 guys are just ready to attack that space. Once again, Kaizer Chiefs gets the ball and the ball is played long. Look who's there. Mtu Shabalala plays the ball across to Sirino, and you end up getting this chance which you ended up missing. Now, when you look at the red card again, because you might think it was just an isolated incident, but it's not. It's that thing, Yoguti, when we are defending, we're like, how do we get a clear chance of scoring from this position? So if you look at what happened for Chiefs during the red card situation, when Marumo Kalans got a red card, for starters, we win a duel, right? The Kalans have decided to play long because we are pressing them too much. So they try to play the ball long. And in doing that, Russian totally rises up. Ne? Before we talk about total, you see there are guys there. There are guys there on top of your picture. 4 of them, right? There are 4 people ready for Kaizer Chiefs when they win the ball. They are ready to say, if we win the ball, we are going to do something. It's not that they are lazy. Chiefs already has confidence in the setup. We have confidence in the fact that Miguel is tall, is going to compete aerially, Dotli is going to compete aerially, and our midfielders are also sitting to also help us in midfield to make sure that we are not getting penetrated through there, but we're also ready to counter you. So what happens is, we win the ball back, and that aggression and being the first one on the ball. Sirino gets the ball and he plays Utuba through, and then we end up getting one of the Kalans players sent off. Why is that? Because when we're defending, we're thinking about attacking. When we're attacking, we're thinking about attacking. All the time, it's all about how do we attack from this situation. It doesn't matter. It's all about attack, attack, attack. Now, if you look at Mfundo's winner, the goal that we won by, you will see that we're in the same situation again. Chiefs are defending, but you have Sirino once again just outside, and you have the guys on the other side just trying to defend and get rid of the ball. And guess what happens next? So what happens next is, I'm going to put myself up here. You have the ball here being won. And Cross, I even slowed this down. Look at Cross. He's not trying to kick the ball forward. Guys, the recruitment of Kaizer Chiefs, they thought it through. He's not trying to clear the ball because we're under pressure. But what is he doing? He's looking for a pass. He finds the pass, then Sirino, then we have those 4 players again now involved in attack, because you also have Yusuf Mart on top of your picture there, like in the middle, and then you have Mfundo Villagas on the other side. What are we doing now? We left those people up front on purpose, that, or not up front really, because they're also defending, but strategically placed that if we win the ball back, we're countering. And guess what? Sirino plays that beautiful pass again. Few seconds later, we're scoring a goal and we're winning a match. Just like that. How has Nabi improved Chiefs? He has made the Chiefs have a structure defending and offensively, but both of those structures are making sure that we score goals. And then the other 2 things that I love about Chiefs are these. So you'll notice, or you have noticed, that Rashun Totally plays amazing diagonal balls. On top of that, our goal that we scored, it wasn't a diagonal, but we played the ball over the top and we got a chance. Frosler still needs to work on his technique, but clearly he was also told that if there's a chance, play those diagonal balls, and we're getting those things, which means Chiefs are unpredictable. We can play out from the back, right? But we can also press and win the ball and force you. You can go long, but you will win those aerial balls. but we can also play diagonals and long balls into the right areas of the pitch. And there's Samgelo Zwane. Here's another thing, by the way, please subscribe. And if you are subscribed, I hope this video has 1,000 likes by this time you're watching it. So, you know what to do. Now, another thing is set pieces, right? Sereno, once again. It's him. It's the deliveries into the box. It's our people willing to try and head the ball, and we're getting chances as well from those. So it was beautiful. And I know some people would have wanted me to go through the specifics and how each player is supposed to be utilized. Right now, I'm looking at the overall system, and that is why some players will not be fitting in the system, not because they are horrible, but they just don't fit in the system, Nabi. And I'm going to support him when he's saying, if he's saying that, hey, I am going to literally prioritize the style of the team over everything. And I'm behind him. And what did you guys think of the game, and how did you see Nabi approaching the game? Do let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Pelumo.